Morning. I'd like to take a little bit of time to talk to you about something you've probably seen, but don't know what it's actually called. If you've ever seen a police dog on TV chase somebody down, grab, hold, thrash, and just sit there until the handler comes and says, stop, that's what we're going to talk about. What is Schutzhund? Schutzhund today is seen as a dog sport as well as a training methodology. Schutzhund has been around since 1901. According to westernburgerland.com, Captain Max von Stephanitz was known for breeding the first German Shepherds. And being known for German Shepherds, he would eventually become the creator of the organization that would develop Schutzhund as a testing tool. So, initially, German Shepherds were herding dogs. Industrialization moved them to police working. And then Van Stephanitz decided, I'm going to create the Verein für Deutsche Schäferhund, which is German Shepherd Association in English, also known as the SV. Early 1900, the SV created Schutzhund as a testing metric system to determine whether or not a dog would be able to handle the workload, and then eventually start to eliminate down the gene pool. So it had been used for many, many years after 1901, which is when they had their first trials in Germany. Now, we in America didn't get the German Shepherd until after World War I. Schutzhund didn't make it here until 1970s when a German immigrant started the first Schutzhund Club here in America. They held their first trials in California in the 1970s. Today, there's two main clubs. You have the German Shepherd Dog Club of America and the United Schutzhund Club of America. And they do trials all over the country, and these trials are utilized to determine who we should send to the World Championships of Schutzhund, which is held by the World Union of German Shepherd Associations. Now, let's get into the phases, because this is a three-phase dog sport, if you would. Phase one is tracking and scent detection. In Schutzhund, the dog is expected to follow a foot trail, so nose to the ground, following a scent until it finds its mark. According to Schutzhundtraining.com and IPOtraining.com, it's never too early to train the dog in tracking because you're using their hunger drive. You're using food as the reward when you create a scent patch. So create a trail, scent. Now, this not only teaches them tracking, but it builds confidence. It builds that rapport with the handler that there's always some sort of reward, and there's still commands being used in search and whatnot. But then you have to have a way to show that you found something, and the way that they do that is by using simple, basic, obedient commands. Now, obedience in and of itself is its own phase. It's the foundation if you plan to do phase 3, which is protection work, which you can assume would be the next one. But there's a lot of different factors in play. They pay very close attention to the focus and attention of the dog, and this is going to build the dog's focus to the handler and have them pay attention for each and every command that could come out of that dog's mouth or that handler's mouth. Now, in obedience, they use a single command methodology, and that is, once I give you the command, the position is to be held until I release the command, and that's either with a new command or with a break and play. So you just break or okay or free, and then you continue to play. The third main command that you're going to come across is out, and if you don't have a perfect out, you're not going to go into protection. So out also is aus in German. This command is you must release. You have to release whatever's in your mouth. And the goal is to get them to play on a toy and then the arm of the helper. And eventually you should issue the out command and they should release within 1 second. Now they'll still sit there and bark and go crazy because we're talking about different drives, which we'll get into in this section here. Phase 3, which is the protection training, trains heavily on 3 different drives the dog has: social drive, defense drive, and prey drive. In a social drive, their desire to stay and obey the pack and the pack leader is what drives them. They will guard, they will bark. Hold and bark is big in this, where they will run to a helper or whatnot and just start barking. There's no contact, there's no aggression to it. This is, I'm trying to protect my pack, and this keeps me in good with them. Then you have a defense drive that you start to build on, and that is when they're doing this, when they're in the social drive, they're holding and barking on somebody. If that person or that thing becomes a threat, starts to hit them or run or whatever, they jump into defense drive, and it's not specific. It's just any stimulus should move them from one drive to another, and they can bite and release and bite and hold, but not, and they'll run with the person type thing. And then following defense drive is when they have a prey drive, and this is, they see a moving object running from side to side. They want to chase it, pull it to the ground, thrash, kill, and eat it. This drive is a heavy motivator when it comes to these dogs working and doing their job, but it's very difficult to train. Some of the questions come when you talk about, is this safe? Can I keep this dog at home? And the majority of people that are in this sport find that it absolutely is, and they become more compassionate towards children, and they're more aware of the home and protective of the home. So it is actually very safe. Police dogs are trained in Schutzhund all around the world. So who are our handlers? Our handlers are, like I said, law enforcement, government agencies, military, dog trainers. Like there's some dog trainers that are on TV helping rehabilitate aggressive behavior in dogs, and this is a certain way. Special needs, people that have emotional needs and protection can do this. And then on top of it, just dog sport enthusiasts. Canadian research team found, according to psychologytoday.com, a Canadian research team found that nearly 80% of dog sport enthusiasts and participants are actually female, and that the majority of participants tend to skew towards a higher education level. 32% of participants having a postgraduate education. The majority of the people in these sports are doing 2 to 3. So I hope this look into Schutzhund has given you some more information on something you realize you've seen in the past but had no idea what it was called, and that it actually had a history to it. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.